What comes to mind when you hear the name Guy Fieri? Is it the frosted tipped hair, greasy food, sunglasses, flame-printed bowling shirts, or is it this classic line?
Hey there, I'm Guy Fieri and we're rolling out, looking for America's greatest diners, drive-ins, and dives.
When you hear his name, you probably think of all these things, but you also might be thinking of Guy Fieri memes. The countless memes we see of Guy Fieri range from him welcoming you to Flavortown, or even him changing into his true self, a hot dog Animorph style. Recently, he's even become self-aware, making memes of himself on Twitter. But before all of this happened, when was the day Guy Fieri became a meme? As Diners, Dive-In, and Dives launched Guy's career in 2007, he quickly stood out from other chefs and hosts on the network. You had the refined and quirky Alton Brown, who wouldn't be seen without a suit. Rachel Ray, who was basically like watching your mom cook, and then Bobby Flay, who is always just that cool guy chef. No one comes close to being like Guy at all. Guy was America personified. He was loud both in voice and style, big, and he loved greasy food. Guy Fieri, at the time, might have just been a pretty easy person to make fun of. And when you compare him to the other top Food Network stars at the time, it's just hard not to say something about the way he looked and acted. Despite his ridiculous appearance and catchphrases, for the most part, Guy Fieri largely stayed out of the internet spotlight. Apart from one skit from College Humor in 2011, he really wasn't being made fun of very often. That was until one day. What you're looking at right here are the Google search trends for Guy Fieri. Notice that massive spike? That happened around November 13th, 2012. What happened then? Pete Wells of the New York Times wrote an absolutely scathing review of Guy's restaurant, aptly named the Guy's American Kitchen and Bar. The review was just a series of questions asking Guy why the restaurant was so bad. Asking questions like, why did the watermelon margarita taste like a mix of radiator fluid and formaldehyde? But the reviewer didn't just talk about what the menu offered. He even went so far to ask Guy in the review if his whole shtick is just an act, with how little respect he showed to his food in the restaurant. As far as the restaurant reviews go, this thing absolutely blew up. Guy even had to defend himself on national television.
Read this review, it must have felt like a punch in the gut.
Punch in the gut, I just thought it was ridiculous.
The review was so popular, it even inspired a parody website for Guy's New York restaurant at the time. Unfortunately, the website doesn't exist anymore, but based off screenshots, you can see it had a fake menu with food items like Guy's Big Balls and more. This horrible review put Guy in a new spotlight he'd never seen before. With more popularity came Guy becoming more visible than ever. And when a place like the New York Times can make fun of you, why can't the rest of the internet do the same? From SNL skits to memes to people just generally hating on the guy, it now seemed okay to make fun of Guy Fieri. And so the internet made fun of him in their own way with memes. It definitely started with some hate. People thinking Guy is the embodiment of everything wrong with American culture. His over-the-top 90s look gets a lot of attention, with people going so far as to undouche him with Photoshop. And with nearly 400 episodes and counting of diners, drive-ins, and dives, we've gotten to see tons more Guy Fieri with him constantly talking about going to Flavortown. Luckily, it hasn't been all bad. Over the years, the internet has embraced Guy Fieri after learning more about him, realizing he doesn't act at all the way he looks. And Guy has embraced the internet right back, still maintaining his looks and making his own memes on Twitter, which for now basically means that the Guy Fieri meme is pretty much dead.